Today we're talking about proportions. We started out with ratios, went to converting rates. Now we're talking about proportions. Two quantities are proportional if they have a constant ratio. So 3/4 is proportional to 12/16. Which is proportional to 36/48. Why? Because 36/48 breaks down to 3/4. 12/16 reduces to 3/4. That means they're proportional. Write this chart down. Okay, I've combined two lessons. Okay, the first lesson, this one asks to determine if they are proportional. Okay, if two different ratios are proportional. Well, we look at this. Coffee's, when it's 1 pound, it costs me $3. When it's 2 pounds, it costs me $6. Well, what is 2/6 reduced down to? 1/3. Doesn't it? So this increased 1, this one increased 3. Well, if I start from 0, 0, did this increase by 1 and this increase by 3? Yeah. Well, let's see if 3/9 is proportional. What is 3/9 reduced down to? 1/3. So is this proportional to this? Yeah. Is this proportional to this? Yeah, because they all equal 1/3, right? Well, we've got one left, 4/12. What was that reduced down to? 1/3. Yeah, 1/3. Well, so they all reduce down to 1/3. So what I can say is it is proportional. Okay, coffee in pounds to cost. 1 pound of coffee is $3. So if I bought 2 pounds, it's going to cost me $6. 3 pounds is going to cost me $9. So every time I add a pound, I'm going to add $3 to that. Okay, that's what it means by proportional. Write this chart down. So this is the time it took to drive a certain amount of miles. The first hour, okay, they drove 50 miles. So that's what we're comparing everything else to. Are they going 50 miles for every hour that they do? Okay, well, let's look. Here is 270. Okay, 2/7. They increased by an hour, they increased by 20. Does 2/70, does that reduce down to 1/50th? No, it doesn't. 2/7 reduces down to 1/35. Is that equal to 1/50th? No. So, is this proportional?
No.
No. Not proportional. And we can check. 3/90. Okay, that reduces to 1/30. Is that equal to 1/50th?
No.
No. So, this is not proportional. Their distance driven varied. Okay, now we're going to do the second lesson, which is solving proportions. I felt like you could learn to do both of them in one day instead of two. So now we're going to solve proportions. They're going to tell you these are proportional. A/B is proportional to C/D. That's what that means. A/B is proportional to C/D. It says if they are proportional, then A times D and B times C is going to be equal. We call this cross multiplying. We can cross multiply this numerator with this denominator and this denominator with this numerator, okay? And they'll be equal to both sides. Let's try it. 1/3 2/6. Okay, are these proportional? Do we know these are proportional? Yes, because they're both reduced down to 1/3. Well, let's see. If I take this, multiply it, I take these and multiply it. Are they equal on both sides? Yes, they are. Okay, so we know this is a true statement. They're going to give us a problem like this, where we know b over 15 is proportional to 66 over 90. Okay, we just don't know what b is. We need to know what number b is to make this proportional to 66 over 90. It is proportional. We know they're proportional. We just got to figure out what b is. So what we do is we cross multiply. 90 times b, 66 times 15. Well, 66 times 15 is 990. And 90 times b equals 990. Someone raise your hand. Tell me how to solve this. Yes, Nicole.
You could take 90 divided by 9.
You would divide both sides by 90. We've been doing this. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. Okay, we divide by 90 because it's 90 times b is 990. We got to find what b is to make this true. Well, we could reduce by 10 before we divide. Okay, that just eliminates zeros. How many times does 9 go into 99? There we go. So, let's see. 11 over 15. It's supposed to be proportional to 66 over 90. Is that true? Could I reduce these by 6? 66 divided by 6 is 11. Guess what 90 divided by 6 is? 15. So B has to be 11 to make this true. Write this down. First thing I do is cross multiply. 7 times 12 and 14c. 7 times 12 is 84. I have 14 times c, so I divide by 14 to find out what c is. 84 divided by 14. C has to be 6. Well, are these proportional? 6 over 12, is that proportional to 7 over 14? Yeah, it is, because what? They both reduce down to what? 1/2. Alright, on this, I want you to write wait time is 20 minutes when 160 people are in line. Alright, how long is the wait when 220 people are in line? That's what I want you to write down. So it tells you, okay, that the wait time at a roller coaster was 20 minutes when 160 people were in line. Alright, that's a ratio they give you. They say it's going to be proportional. You're going to have to wait the same amount of time, or proportionally, to if there's 220 people in line. So that's how we set it up. 20 over 160. Okay, I need to find out what the wait time is because I've got wait time on top. On bottom, I have people in line. Okay, keep them the same. Time is on top. Well, people in line is on bottom. Now I cross multiply. 20 times 220. 160 times t. Well, 20 times 220 is 4,400. Equals 160t. Well, it should be x, but it's alright. I'm going to make this t right here. So I divide by 160 to find out what t is. I could reduce by 10, so I get rid of a 0. 440 divided by 16 is 27.5. Okay, so it's 27.5 minutes. I expect you to write, or to show your work. I expect you to set it up and show your work. I also expect you to write the units. I will count it wrong if you don't show your units. Right? Everything I wrote down is what you're expected to write down on your homework problems. Here's your assignment.